Whenever I listen to Tim and his panel of guests, my toes begin to curl, and I feel just the right amount of tingling all over my aching body. Now, let's get back to the show.
Hello. Yes, this is Blanche, and how did you get this number? And better yet, why am I even talking to you? I don't like you. Matter of fact, I hate you. You can just tear up my number and then go climb back under your slimy rock with all the rest of your slimy friends. And don't you ever call here again.
Nathan!
Hello.
Have we spoken to you since you went to an audience with? I can't remember.
I think we've spoken. I don't think I've been on the show or anything.
Oh, this is a terrible thing, because people knew you were getting dressed up, you were going there. Was it as good as you'd hoped?
It wasn't anywhere near as exciting as I was expecting it to be. I was right in the back. We didn't realise how far up we were.
You typical British, though, really. I mean, what do you do this for? I mean, it's not the 1800s anymore. What's this class system? You have Lenny Henry up the front, and Nathan, a real fan, he can touch the ceiling. By the way, if you looked up, you could see Philip Schofield flat against the roof trying to get a peek.
Yeah, Philip Schofield, yeah.
Well, he's not down there with the elite anymore, is he?
No, he certainly isn't. No comment.
But was it a good show?
Oh, she did fantastic. She didn't even have to retake anything. But quite hilariously, the most interesting part that I found, and I've seen a lot of people rejecting that she said this, but she did. The most interesting thing that I got from the entire show was she said, "Oh, I'd love another padam," and then she said, "I'm working on another padam," which I was, the moment she said that, I was like, all of my suspicions are being confirmed right now, and I was so happy to hear her say it.
What I want to know is, from watching the TV special, what was going on in between? Because I can see that she was coming out with costume. Like, was it done like a television production where they'd come out and reset the stage and you just had to sit there and the lights would come back on? Or was it a proper Kylie concert, like back to back?
No, it was like done like a TV show. Yeah, it was quite funny though. She, for example, I'm not sure if you've seen the actual advert for it, but she stood on the stage advertising an audience with Kylie, and she's saying, "Oh, an audience with me," or something like that. And she obviously recorded that in the middle of the show, and it was just quite funny to watch her do it and watch her do this thing that obviously we were going to see being advertised.
It's so cool when you get to see behind the scenes like that. I love it.
Yeah. She did a couple of like exclusive performances and stuff like that.
Hang on. Exclusive meaning they didn't air on TV.
Yeah, she did Let It Snow for some reason.
I saw that weird thing on YouTube, yeah, where she forgot her step.
She did Love at First Sight, but that was actually an online exclusive in the end, but they didn't have any intention of using it.
So people have been complaining about the Time to Talk podcast. They're saying, "Oh, you're not doing any Kylie this year. You haven't done any Kylie." So, Nathan, you're here to rectify all of that.
We'll sort that out right away.
We'll sort it out.
All I want to say, though, I've been absolutely cackling at the comments on your Michael Jackson one. Absolutely cackling at all of the absolutely hate-filled Michael Jackson fans. And that's all I've got to say on it. It's been really
unreasonable. Like, honestly, Michael Jackson fans, like, I mean, I'll do a follow-up podcast, so I'll put more thought into it. But very briefly, what I would say is that the majority, first of all, I'm in hiding because it's pretty severe.
Yeah, literally.
This is about as severe as it gets from a podcasting point of view. They're after me. They've got my email. There's one guy who just, he's told me he's on a mission. He's going to get me. Well, I'm glad it made you cackle anyway.
Surely all you were doing was talking about, like, essentially eyewitness accounts from victims. I don't see what else you could do in that scenario. You weren't a fly on the wall.
No, well, Kylie updates. I mean, look, the most recent one, I'm going to leave the majority of this up to you, so I'm not stealing your thunder, I promise.
No,
but
absolutely.
Rebel Wilson, she was pictured with Kylie overnight. We love Rebel Wilson. She's obviously a fellow Australian, and she was there with her partner, a very pretty girl, I've got to say. So, yeah, that was lovely to see them photographed together. The celebrities are coming out to see Kylie,
They are.
aren't they?
I mean, is it Sarah Michelle Gellar? who was
Yeah,
there. The
that
other
woman
week
out of
as well.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, love to see her. Like, it's very cute. It's very cute. Apparently, there's been quite a few as well. And the only one who was quite disrespectful by the sounds of it was Christina Aguilera, which isn't really a
Stop
huge
it. What did
shocker.
Christina do? Christina wouldn't have been disrespectful to our Kylie.
Well, people
No.
said that she walked out after like 2 songs, which I thought was quite rude. But
That would be very, very sassy if that's true. I like to think, I mean, celebrities often walk in after a show starts and walk out before it ends, but 2 songs, that's a bit ridiculous. Although,
I don't know how true it is.
there's only about 4 songs in the set list, so
Yeah,
let's face
literally,
it. Yeah.
four full length songs.
Going back to Sarah Michelle Gellar, you know there's another overlap, don't you? Back in the Fever era.
What, you mean More being on the Scooby-Doo soundtrack?
Was More on the Scooby-Doo soundtrack? No.
I think it was More.
No, whenever you feel like it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, and there are about 2 or 3 versions of it too. I'm very sure, because I was alive at the time, unlike you.
Fair enough. I can't say much about that one. I could have sworn it was
I was
More.
there on Napster downloading it, all right? I know what I'm talking about. What else has been going on for our Kylie?
Well, quite a lot, really, isn't there? We've had 1 million award nominations come through, which is obviously absolutely fantastic and not fully expected, to be honest. I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting all of the nominations that she's actually gotten. I mean, this Billboard Icon Award, I was astounded by.
Look, I'm not going to lie, I can't keep up, and I don't know half the awards, but the Billboard ones are in Los Angeles in March, as I understand it, and apparently quite prestigious. I don't know if I've ever heard of the Billboard Awards. I've heard of the Billboard chart.
No, I've definitely heard of them. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I'm pretty sure she went out on stage at a Billboard Awards ceremony. It was in 2011, I think, and she had like a dress on that was. It was almost like chainmail, and you could see a bum through it.
I'm going to have to go and have a look for that. That's for sure. I'll probably know it when I see it. I
think it was a Billboard Award ceremony. I could be wrong, but I know it was in America, and I'm pretty sure it was. But anyway, so this Billboard Icon Award, I was just astonished by it because the people who are receiving awards, there's quite a lot of quite well-known faces. I mean, that Ice Spice is going to be there taking an award, for example.
Who the hell is Ice Spice? Is it Vanilla Ice's long-lost cousin?
No, but she's one of the up-and-coming like people on like I assume the rap scene.
That's Nathan there with his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, I've been much more focused on Padamming at the moment.
Can't blame you.
But yeah, so she's nominated for an award, and she's very big at the moment. And a lot of other people like that, like Charlie XCX is getting one, things like that. It's very good that she's getting this award. It's lovely to see. The thing is, though, is I know there has been a lot of uproar about Padam not receiving a nomination at the Brits. Because she got Artist of the Year, which I think is wonderful. But a lot of people have been complaining about her not getting the nomination for Padam at the Brits. And I am really disappointed, but I do understand the reasoning. I can't pretend that I think it's completely like all discriminatory or anything, actually, because I don't here. I think it's just because it's based on sales. And while Padam has done fantastically, it's done fantastically for Kylie at the moment. It's not done fantastically.
Category best song or something, is it? By a female?
Best international song.
Best international song. She's not nominated for Padam.
No. But
that is odd, Nathan.
It's based on sales.
Is it, though? Is that what they say?
Apparently so, yes.
That's a shame, isn't it? I mean...
I agree. I think it's a very silly way of doing it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think back with Brits for Best International Song, which she's won before, I'm sure of it.
Well, yeah, she has, yeah.
And the ones that she won, I suppose they were high sellers. It was Can't Get You Out of My Head, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was.
That award
exactly,
previously.
yeah. Because I hate the Brits. Just to start, I absolutely hate the Brits. I think they are bigots. I think that the entire thing is a sham. I do not like the Brits in any way, shape, or form. And I hate that I have to defend them in this scenario because I absolutely despise them. they've neglected Kylie for 12 years. You know, I can't pretend that that's not happened, because it has. But in this one case, I'm not as offended as I might have been. Because,
Exactly. I don't like it, I don't respect it, but if she doesn't get nominated, I'm going to scream it from the rooftop.
No, it's not even that. I do understand why she's not in this case. I'm just disappointed. I would have hoped they would have made an exception because of what a huge hit it was in the UK, but they haven't.
Oh, look, if she can't get nominated for International Song with Padam, that's just bloody stupid. I've got to say, this Icon Award, I've just been looking it up. This is not typical of me. I usually have done a bit of homework beforehand, but this Billboard Icon Award, according to what I'm reading here, is always accompanied by a performance. So Kylie's going to be performing. Well, because here we go. So in 2014, it went to Jennifer Lopez, and she performed First Love. Celine Dion in 2016, Cher in 2017, Janet Jackson in 2000. This is like a roll call of my favourite people. 2019.
I was about to say that this is a fantastic lineup of people to be included with.
Isn't it? Mariah Carey, Garth Brooks, or you can strike him. Pink in 2021. By the way, apparently she's going to be performing in Sydney in a few weeks' time. That's exciting. Mary J. Blige in 2022. So there you go. This is exciting. She might be performing Padam.
I mean, it'd be fantastic if she did. I've just sent you a link to the time that she was on the Billboard Awards as well.
Okay, thank you. I'll have a little look at that. What else has our Kylie been up to while I have a look at this link you've sent me?
Well, I know that she got that, what was it called? The Triple J list of cool songs.
Yeah, now listen, this is, oh my goodness, doesn't she look great? Yes. No, I have never seen this, Nathan.
She very much came with the intention of getting attention, and I do think she succeeded.
That's definitely Aphrodite era. She looks amazing. Yeah, but it's a lot more sexual. It's the Aphrodite look with quite a sexual turn. Okay, there you go. I'll freeze frame that later, Nathan, when we're not talking to each other. Where was I? I'm very distracted now after looking at that. Jeez, that's
this Triple J
amazing.
Radio station.
Oh, yes.
It's an alternative radio station, isn't it?
I think it's called the Hot One. Well, look, okay, international listeners, you need to understand this Triple J, or Double J, it might be called now, is a bit like in Britain your BBC, but it's like meant to be the youth station. It started when I was young to play up-and-coming Australian bands, and then when it started introducing commercially successful music, like Kylie, there was an uproar. Like, they never played Madonna, they never played Kylie. And the first time Madonna was played on Triple J, it made headlines. It was Human Nature. And when Kylie was first played on it, which was her a song from Impossible Princess, which I think was Did It Again, not
Did It Again was on
Kind of
that
Bliss.
list. Yeah, I have looked.
Oh, well, there you go. And she won something for that. But there was, it was like outrage, because the people that listen to it, they usually have, a safety pin up their nostril and something, tattooed on their backside, that type of, they're goths, right?
Safety pin up their nostril.
Well, it's true. Like, they're very awful looking people. And that's no offense to you, Nathan. I know you. Okay.
No, it's hysterical.
Well, it's true. In the 90s, like, if you're on the school playground and someone went, I'm going to listen to Triple J, like, it's like, okay, good on you. But it's very alternative, like you say. But it's become, over the years, not the station, but one event on that station has become almost as big as Australia Day, which we've just had. And it's the Hot 100. Do you have it in front of you? I think it's called the Hot 100.
I think it is the Hot 100. I haven't got it in front of me.
That's okay. But they count down.
She was like number 49, 44, something like that.
There you go. So she got on it this year. And but like I say, if that had happened 20 years ago, it would have been as big a headline as when she was on it. Yeah, when Madonna and Kylie made the list, it was bad news. A lot of people tuned out, a lot of their regulars.
To be fair, though, I don't really, I do understand why Padam Padam would make a list like that, because as much as, yes, it is a mainstream pop song, it's not like a mainstream pop song that you've ever had before.
Kylie's relationship with Australia has been very different to the one with Britain. Like, in Britain, even though she got a hard time at the beginning, once you break through in Britain, in England, you are a national treasure and very, very loyal to you. That's what I've noticed about your country. Here, she's had this really fickle relationship
Yes,
with the public. She's got a hardcore base. She's got the respect of most of the media, but it took her a long time to be cool. Even to this day, I'd say. So look, the Triple J Hot 100 is actually a really interesting barometer for how accepted she is at any given time. So when she released Impossible Princess, obviously a bit indie, alternative, and then she made it onto their list, and even though it caused headlines, it was actually a bit of a nod of credibility to her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, Kylie's been nominated for a string of awards, as you've just said, and she's back to Vegas again. I know that we all know that she's doing intermittent shows in Vegas, but she's making as many headlines this time as she did the first time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's saying how fantastic it is. It does sound to me like we can sit and bitch about the show length as much as we like, but perhaps this night as a whole, it is better than we can see from looking from a distance.
What you're trying to say, really politely, is because we can't afford to go over there, we're just like going to be snobbish about it. Can we indulge in something together, Nathan? Don't be scared.
Absolutely.
Don't be scared.
Wise men say, only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love.
I do love it when she pairs like that.
How's her voice, Nathan?
Oh, she sounds fantastic.
Very pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it when she just pairs things like with you. It's just such a cute pan.
She's a storyteller when it comes to music, isn't she? And she does that one justice, I've got to say. Although I think there are other Elvis songs that I would have preferred her singing. There was one in particular. Now I can't remember what it was. But look, anyway, it's such a beautiful nod to Elvis.
I mean, I to be honest though, I'm not. I'm still not on the side of doing them. I think with
the Vegas shows.
No. Doing the Elvis covers. I don't understand why.
Oh, hang on a second. All right, this is the first one of the night, so stand by. No, Nathan, you can't say that. You just can't say that. Why on earth shouldn't... No, sorry, I'm offended. Very offended. Why? Why shouldn't she do Elvis covers? Is she not good enough to cover Elvis?
No, Elvis isn't good enough to be covered by Kylie.
That's ridiculous.
Let him go back in history and just marry 14-year-olds.
Oh, stop it. Don't say that. They didn't have sex till after she was 17.
What a queen! What a king he is! Like, I completely believe that is true.
Oh, stop it! Times were very different. All right, stop it. That's
I completely believe.
If you say one more thing, I've got a much worse punishment than the whip. All right, and you don't want to know what it is.
About this Sia, a potential Sia duet.
Yes, what's it called again? Dancing Alone.
Dance on my own or something. I don't even know.
And you've heard it. What do you make of it?
Not a lot. I don't know if that's just me, but not a lot.
Yeah, let's have a little listen. I have a really bad feeling, Nathan, that she says, I just want to dance alone, I just want to lose my phone.
I know, I thought that as well.
Oh, God, I hope that's not the lyric. I hope I'm mishearing that. You know that C has written another song called Kylie Would. I think I've spoken to you about that before, haven't I?
I don't know if we've spoken about it, but I have heard it.
It's terrible.
It's horrific.
It really is. It's awful. I was hoping Kylie wouldn't come because it's some other artist on that track as well. And she sort of dominates the first third of it. And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's not too bad. Some other artists are talking about Kylie Would. And then Kylie comes on. And it's like, no, don't be part of this. Stop.
It's awful. It really is awful.
Sia and Kylie, you can be friends. You can love each other, you can pay homage to each other, you can hang out together because they are friends, but you must stop working together. It's over, it's done, you've tried your best, but no more now, it's done.
Well, I was always quite insulted with Sia though, because I mean, she wrote Pretty Hearts for Beyonce, and then she wrote Sexercise for Kylie, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Sexercise. I'm one of the few. I love Sexercise. Like I've been through my journey with Sexercise, and I've come out the other end loving it. But she wrote Pretty Hearts for Beyonce and then Sexercise for Kylie. I remember actually being quite insulted at the time that she wrote Sexercise for Kylie after that, because Pretty Hearts had just come out.
Wow. Yeah. By the way, that big gym ball for younger fans like you who probably don't deserve to hear this, but when Kylie first made the Who magazine Most Fascinating People of the Year, which was a big honour back in those days, I think it was 94.
Right.
Why are you laughing? I haven't even given you the punchline yet.
Back in the olden days when people could be fascinating. Yeah,
That's it. You're getting the extra punishment. Here we go. You're getting the Yoko.
Oh, God.
And a bit of that as well. Stop laughing. I haven't even finished the story. Jesus.
What?
Christ.
The most fascinating people.
Yes, okay, so, and then she did a photo shoot with a pink background, a big dog, and in one of those she was leaning over a ball just like out of Sexercise. I don't know what you
Oh,
call
really?
it. Yes, so when it came up in Sexercise, I was like, hey, that's from that 94, I'm sure it was 94 cover of Who. I think she was smoking a cigarette too as part
Oh
of
my
the shoot.
goodness, Kylie.
I know, Kylie, what are you doing? Do you feel educated now, by the way, or do I have to bring Yoko
I found
back?
that interesting. I just assumed that she was channeling an Olivia Newton-John or something.
You're so rude. I love that.
What
the way
do you
that you
mean?
really... Well, because you're so surprised that you were interested. I've actually found that interesting. I thought I was going to hear one of your stupid old stories again. But that one was good. Oh, my God.
No, what I'm saying, I thought it was more of an Olivia Newton-John sort of reference.
What? The ball?
With Sexercise, yeah.
Oh, to Physical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, she'd done Physical on a night like this to her too, right? So, yeah, okay. There's a few different links. I don't mind
Bit
that.
Jane Fonda-esque sort of thing, you know.
A bit Jane Fonda-esque. Yes.
Especially at this moment, I think this is one of the most important times in Kylie's career, really. Because I would describe Padam as the spinning around of 2023.
And you think it's going to be... The 2024 is going to be even bigger.
Well, that's the hope, and I think that's Kylie's hope as well. I really do think that's Kylie's hope. So from my perspective, I just hope she's absolutely razor sharp, looking forward and seeing what's coming, if you see what I mean. I mean, the only way, though, that I think she can outdo Padam is by unveiling a song at Eurovision. I really do. And
What?
by that, I mean... Oh, no, right. Oh, no, okay, so this is quite a big...
No.
No, hear me out. So you know how Madonna did her performance at Eurovision? It was horrific, but it had it could have been brilliant. I do think Kylie doing Eurovision in the same way that Madonna did is a really good move for her, because imagine if she'd have unveiled Padam on that stage.
I don't know. You guys over there have a different idea of Eurovision. I must be missing something. It just seems so cheap, so tacky, so goddamn awful.
Well, it is, but
yeah,
that's why
Sonia,
that's why
for God's
young
sake.
gays love it. No, it's true. It's true. That's why we all love it, because it is cheap, tacky, and camp, and that's why people love it. And it's become something
Kylie's
of a
not
thing.
cheap and tacky and camp.
No, she's not. But neither was Madonna's performance on Eurovision. Really,
I think that was the evidence you need to say big artists shouldn't plop themselves into the middle of bloody Eurovision. What a nightmare.
Oh no, I disagree.
Annie
I just think
Minogue's
it was
representing
Mike issue.
Australia, by the way, apparently.
Sorry.
On February 3, Danny's releasing a new song, and the rumour is that she is going to be entering that into Eurovision.
I would hate that for her, but I would also love that for her.
Oh, stop it. What do you mean by that? That's it. You didn't make any sense.
Well, no, I hate it for her because, I hate the idea that Kylie's going to be the sister of a Eurovision entrant. But I love it for her because it is a good idea for Danny.
Well, I just can't wait. If she's been inspired by the song Tension and the song Padam, she is absolutely on a winner. If she could do an album full of that, that's where the album Tension, even though it was great, it really was, but that's where it fell apart because those two songs were just...
I feel like it was almost like a palette teaser, Tension.
Absolutely.
Like, I really do. I feel like she wanted to, honestly, and I blame Kylie fans for this. You know, as usual, I'm going to blame you all. When Kylie released Scare in 2013, Kylie fans lost their minds. They were all fucking livid about the idea that Kylie would release a song like that. And she had to veer to the left and try and kind of recoup what the album could be. And I think ever since that time, she's been a little bit cautious about pissing you all off. And I feel like the reason why Tension is the way that it is because it was almost like a palette teaser. Like, you know, she had the much harsher electro songs that obviously are what Tension should have been. Then there was the more fun, cutesy pop songs in the middle. Then there was the almost R&B infused ones towards the right, and it was like seeing what sticks. And obviously the ones that have stuck are very much the electro songs now, and Kylie's now allowed to make electro music again. Thank you, Kylie fans.
You know what, folks? It took longer than usual, but Nathan finally delivered the punch in the throat to us all. It's out. Been waiting for it, but there it was. Right as we're about to walk out of the fortress, he just goes, I thought, this time he hasn't blamed anyone this time. And then he separated. Did you hear that?
No, I blame you all.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing to do with him. His fandom's fine. It's protected species.
Well, I loved Scout when it came out.
Me, who was there, you know, ringing up the record shop for Wouldn't Change a Thing and getting them to order it in en masse, you know. No, it's all my fault. It's all my fault. You need one of these as you walk out of the fortress, Nathan. Say goodbye to everyone.
Oh, I love it. I had to get one in there. I had to.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and the lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners.
I'll make it up to you, Dorothy, I promise. Listen, if there's ever a night where you can't sleep, I'll come to your room and sing Kumbaya.
Rose, I don't know what to say. Yes, I do. Don't ever do that.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pearl and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see.
Teddy, welcome to the fortress of pop culture.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we can continue this conversation, Teddy, I need to know, which Golden Girl are you?
I am a Dorothy.
You're a Dorothy.
I am always the tallest person in my friend group. I am always the most sarcastic. And I've been known to cut people down with a single glance, which all says Dorothy to me.
So you don't have the hair that looks like an English judge?
I do not. I am a bald black man, so no, I do not. Which Golden Girl are you?
I'd probably be Dorothy, almost certainly. Only through process of elimination. I'm definitely not a Blanche. I'm definitely not a Rose. I might be becoming a Sophia. So, Teddy, we're going to talk about the exciting possibility of a Golden Girls reboot. Although I shouldn't say that because there's so many people on fan groups who go, no, never do it, don't touch it, wouldn't watch it. What do you reckon, though? Is it worth a try?
I hate to be this guy. However, I'm going to be one of those guys. There's no need for it. Some
Oh,
things
come
are
on,
perfect.
Teddy. Where's your fun?
You know, some things are so perfect. There's no need to touch them. Um, and Golden Girls is one of those things. So many iconic television programs have been remade, and almost never is it a good thing. So I wouldn't want the Golden Girls touched. I'm sorry, that's not going to give you much content, but I gave it a thought, and that's the best I could come up with. Like, don't do it.
All right. Well, no, I like a challenge. I like a challenge because there are exceptions to those reboots that actually work. I'm thinking The American Office would be the most obvious one to me. I wouldn't have thought anybody. No, I was one of them. Don't touch that British Office. It's perfect. It was rounded out in a small amount of episodes. Don't touch it. But The American Office is. It's because it was a reimagining. You know, they didn't try to remake it. It was a reimagining.
I am going to burst a potential bubble. I'm not a fan of the original Office nor the American counterpart. And I know about 27,000 people have just died hearing what I've just said, and I apologize for all deaths that I've caused just now. However, not an Office fan. I've tried my best. I've watched a few episodes, and just not my cup of tea. Sorry.
That's okay. You don't need to have liked it to dismiss the principle, though. The principle being that a reimagining can work. It can be successful. We'll get to that. I just want to start with something I found today, which I had I had no idea about. The Golden Girls Reimagined. Have you heard of this?
Well, I've heard it on like fantasy type things, but
No, this is not a fantasy. You are not dreaming, Teddy. You're not dreaming. I didn't know about it either. I came on to make some notes for this about what I would want to see in a reimagined version of the Golden Girls. And lo and behold, it's been done in 2020. Do you want to hear a little bit about it?
absolutely. How did this slip by me?
It says this was in 2020. It was an article in harpersbazaar.com. Tonight, the Golden Girls will be reimagined with an all-black cast for a special virtual performance via Zoom. This must be the days of COVID, right, Teddy? I'm guessing. Actresses Tracy Ellis Ross,
Yes.
don't know who that is, Regina King.
Well, every time you say an actress, I'm going to tell you what she's on because I'm a huge television aficionado. So Tracy Ellis Ross stars on Blackish, and she's also the daughter of Diana Ross.
Get out, really?
That's her real daughter, and she stars on Blackish. Yes.
Regina King. Do you know her?
Yes, I do. She's a very famous actress. She's an Academy Award winner, and she was most notably known for her first role was on 227. She was Marla Gibbs' teenage daughter on 227.
Oh, so she's been around for a while. Alfrey, because she's certainly, if she's a Golden Girl now and she played a teenager, that's an old show you're pulling up there, I'm guessing. Alfrey Woodard.
Woodard, yes. She's another Academy Award winning actress.
You're joking me.
No. Oh, I kid you not.
Academy Award.
I'm not winding you up, yes. But she's more so known for her film roles as opposed to television. She doesn't do much television, but she's had about at least 50 films. And yes, Academy Award. Yeah.
That is, I mean, this is getting more exciting by the actress. And the final actress that they've got listed here, Sana Lathan.
We pronounce it Sanai Nathan, yes.
Sanai Lathan. So please don't tell me she's won an Academy Award.
She has not. And I feel bad for having to point that out. Like, oops, sorry. But no,
she won't be listening.
She's not won an Academy Award. She has done many films and TV. She did a great film called Love and Basketball. She's in a Tyler Perry film called The Family That Prays. She's done Good Hair, I believe, is the last film. Yes, she's done quite a few things. Yes, quite a few things.
Well, sadly, I tried to dig and find out how this went down or anything about it, and I can't find anything except for reviews that add up to only 3 stars out of 10. So, I don't think we missed much, Teddy.
We did not miss much, but it was probably in the height of COVID, and we had other issues like, feeding our families and staying alive, so it may have gone under the radar.
Stop it. Don't try and excuse Regina King Sarnie Lathan, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Lena Waithe, and Jesse Williams, and Jesse Williams, he's famous, isn't he? And Alfred Woodard.
You've butchered all of their names. Every single one of them, you've butchered their names. Like,
welcome to the fortress, the place where we know nothing about anyone. Wow. But so, look, you must be like me, about to, when we finish this podcast, go searching for it. I want to find it.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. When you gave me my homework yesterday about a reboot, I didn't want to be a complete Debbie Downer about this. And although
you're doing well.
I'm trying my best not to be, but, I am a Dorothy, so I can't help it. Sometimes I suck the fun out of the room. So I did think...
So what did you do then? What did you come up with?
I thought if I absolutely had to make a decision, if there were a gun pointed at my head, and by the way, I stand about 2 meters plus. I'm about 6'5", as we say here in the States.
Well, you know what then, Teddy? I'll just have to hold a cheesecake at your crotch.
Anything to get me to bend over. It's not that difficult, actually, to be quite honest. Not only am I a Dorothy, I'm also a friend of Dorothy for that, out of date reference. But
oh dear.
So I decided if I absolutely had to do it, okay, so allow me to go off on a bit of a tangent, if you don't mind.
Please do.
You said you're down in Australia, New Zealand, which?
Oh, are you in Canada or the United States?
I'm in the United States.
Yeah, it's just as offensive. I'm not in New Zealand, and all our New Zealand listeners know I affectionately and patronisingly enjoy them to a degree. I'm in Australia, Teddy.
Australia, because I know I read one of those. I correspond with people about the Golden Girls all over the world, so in my mind it sort of gets jumbled up. But I know that you were from down under somewhere, so I just wanted to be certain.
I'll just nurse my bruised ego here while you carry on.
You're just fine. Your accent is better than mine. You're just fine. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Here in the States, we have a show called Norman Lear Presents. If you know, back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, Norman Lear was sort of the Ryan Murphy of today. Back then,
Really?
He had all these iconic television shows, All in the Family, Maude, Good Times, The Jeffersons. He made all of those.
Sounds like spin-off after spin-off. Those are the types of shows that all had a spin-off.
Very much so. And he was in charge of all of them. And actually, B. Arthur, who obviously we know plays Dorothy, she got her start in television on a show called All in the Family, where she played Maude, which was then spun off to her own series called Maude.
Oh my goodness, I am learning a lot. Obviously, I knew a lot about Maude, but I didn't know Maude was a spin-off. I knew it had the man from Different Strokes in it.
Before he was in Different Strokes, correct, yes.
And by the way, just as an aside, I was watching... I don't know why I find this so funny, but in the 80s, if anyone ever got a head injury, they had to have that ridiculous bandage around their forehead, almost like a snow cone on top of it, or a neck brace. Like it's one of the two. Those were the two props for any injury above the neckline. Well, I was watching an episode of Different Strokes. I wouldn't say I was watching it, actually. I don't want to be that shameful. I had it on in the background, and he somehow acquired a head injury and lost his complete memory of all these kids. This is such
adopting two black children. Yes.
Yeah, like he wakes up in the bed with that bandage on his head, which had me like so amused. And then he didn't recognize all the family standing around the bed.
Of course.
And what was his name again? Mr.
Drummond.
Mr. Drummond. And the guy, the little dude who's the star of the show goes, "What you talking about, Mr. Drummond?"
That was his catchphrase of the 80s. Yeah. Such a simpler time back then. You could just put a bandage on one's head and everyone knew, oh yes, he has a concussion and amnesia. He has a bandage on his head. Of course he does.
It was communicated to the audience. But you know what I found funny, Teddy? I know if I had watched that in the day, and I probably did, sitting there in my little pajamas in front of a big cancer-causing box, I probably wouldn't have found that episode even remotely funny, because Different Strokes was not funny at the best of times. But all these years later, I find it funny for a completely different reason.
What's the reason?
And you know what's even funnier, Teddy? You were off on a tangent, and I've taken us off on a secondary tangent. And like Rose would say, I'd like to try to handle this.
Great call back to the Golden Girls. Look at that. Look at that.
Circled back. Now I'm handing over the baton to you. What were you talking about again?
Norman Lear. Yeah, I had to backtrack. Yes, Norman Lear.
Norman Lear, the creator of many great shows. Yes.
He did. Before he passed away, he just passed away late last year. He and nighttime talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, they would do these specials around Thanksgiving or Christmas time called Norman Lear Presents, where actors of today would remake one of the episodes of his iconic television shows of the 70s.
Really?
Yes. And they do it here each year before he passed away. And they've done All in the Family.
A whole episode.
Well, they've done it 3 years now, the entire episode. And it's with actors of today doing, the TV shows.
Well, now I'm intrigued. Keep going.
They've done All in the Family twice, and they've done Good Times so far.
Okay.
So I thought of it this way. If I absolutely had to do a reboot of the Golden Girls, this way I would watch it. If it were just a one-time, one-night only holiday special of a reimagining of the Golden Girls for one night, that I would do. I'd be happy with that.
Well, what about this rumour that Jane Lynch and Cyndi Lauper, Jane Lynch from Glee, and Cyndi Lauper of musical fame. Yes. I mean, that's only two. I assume they're not going to double up in their roles. But there was a rumour they were going to have a reimagined Golden Girls. Were you excited by that, or were you disgusted?
No, I'm never excited. Like I said, some things just don't need to be touched. I'm a huge fan of 80s television, and they've already made a mockery of Dallas. They've made a mockery of Dynasty. They made a mockery of Melrose Place, the Beverly Hills 90210. I'm good with the remakes. But if I had to watch a Golden Girls remake, it would be that one-off Norman Lear Presents type thing. That would be fine. That would be fine.
But, I mean, the problem with that is you might really enjoy the episode and think, I wish they'd make a whole series out of that. Can I give you some scenarios, Teddy, and you help me build on them, even though you're a bit of a stick in the mud? But let's see how we can go here. Will you help me build on some storylines I've written here for a reimagined Golden Girls?
Okay, and I'll let you know who I've casted in my reimagining. Okay,
good. Yes, I haven't done any casting. Goldie Hawn keeps coming into mind, though. But anyway, I don't know who she'd play by the looks of her, Sophia.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, but have you seen her without makeup at the beach? She's leading her most happy life. I don't think her most happy life includes makeup anymore.
Oh dear! Wow!
Oh, stop it, Teddy! I've seen your Facebook feed. It's more outrageous than anything I'm saying.
Oh, poor Goldie Hawn. What has she ever done?
Poor Goldie Hawn. I'll tell you what she did. Private Benjamin. All right, here we go.
Overboard was worse, but all right.
Which one?
Overboard.
I love Overboard. Oh no,
really?
You're killing me, man. Yes. You and I really are chalk and cheese. All right, you've got to help me build. These aren't very fleshed out at the moment, but you've got your A storyline, your B storyline, all of that sort of stuff, right?
Yes.
So in this episode, we're going to have Blanche's public and very loud support of Donald Trump embarrasses her Golden Girl friends.
Oh.
So far, are you liking that?
I'm listening.
Sophia and Blanche attend a Trump rally together.
Okay.
And Sophia can have one of those hands like she did with the Pope.
Yes, that's exactly how I thought of it, yes. Mm-hmm.
And already you're starting to see this is reimagined, because to do that, we're going to have more external scenes than we had in the original, of which I think there are only two that I can recall. Should I keep going, or are you disgusted?
I'm just trying to think of have there been any more outdoor scenes, but please continue speaking. I'm listening. I'm just going through my Golden Girls Rolodex. Yes. Actually,
let's do that. As I'm going through my Rolodex too, there's one where you don't see them. There's a car at the end of one episode where there's only voiceovers.
Yes, the Mercedes. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. When they take it for a ride before they have to give it back.
Yes.
Rose in the car park.
Yes, running from the gentleman before she knees him in the safety deposit box. Correct. Yes.
Yes, and my favourite little acting moment of all time when she turns around and goes, ah!
Is it wrong that I laugh at that still? Like that thing has always given me the tickles. Yes.
I know, because presumably, hands get wrapped tightly around her neck afterwards, but still funny.
No, she handles a business, as we say here in the States. Yes,
she handles a business.
Yeah.
Dorothy, this is back to my reimagining. Dorothy decides to undergo a radical makeover. Now, before I go further with this, Teddy, this is because I honestly have always wanted this episode. I always thought, why? Why wouldn't they have seized on this white-haired, and they did all the ugly jokes and all of that sort of stuff. So think about this. Dorothy decides to undergo a radical makeover, becoming a saucy brunette and learning that both men and women pay more attention to her when she has brunette hair.
Okay, so there are going to be some Lebanese jokes. All right. Okay,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But don't you think, like, why didn't she ever run a rinse through that thing?
It was 80s in Miami. That's why she didn't ever go run through. So what is Rose doing? What's Rose doing?
Now look at you. I should withhold it now. Look, Teddy's intrigued, everyone. Have you noticed? He's shifted from Debbie Downer to, tell me more. Tell me more. He's starting.
I'm listening now. You have my undivided attention.
These are all copyrighted, though. If they ever pop up in anything you're involved with, I'll know I'll know what's happened. Rose befriends a young musician, but she's shocked when she learns that he actually has a fetish for older women.
Okay, so we have A, B, and C storylines, and
I'm imagining a bit like a Justin Bieber type, before he was totally famous, just a little bit famous, and she thinks she's gone up to him and to say, I'm a fan, and he takes an interest, and she's quite besotted. Oh, look at that. He thinks I'm cool. But then she learns he's got more on his mind.
Well. Okay, so
and maybe we could get a guest star in that. Who could we get? Justin Bieber wouldn't deign to climb down from his ivory tower for that. Would you need somebody who needs the work? So anyway, I've probably got too many storylines for one episode there, but I've got the makings of a series. That's what I think.
That's true. This is easily a 3-episode arc. However, I do like the Blanche attending a Trump rally because that seems right up her alley, coming from, Georgia, where she's from originally.
You can see her coming back from the rally, can't you? Like Swanee swooning through the kitchen, fanning herself going, oh, that man.
The financial resources of a Mr. Donald Trump. Yes, I could see that. I could see Sophia going just for the shits and giggles of it.
Exactly. That's to be a troublemaker.
Dorothy being absolutely horrified that her mother would go. So there's definitely a great scene between Dorothy, Sophia, and Blanche where she just can't believe that they would even contemplate going to see
it makes so much sense, doesn't it? Like, I love that you can see the thought that's gone into this because Dorothy would be like so horrified and disgusted.
Yes.
That both of them would do that. And
she'd have a nice monologue, in the middle of the scene. Blanche would be swooning. Sophia would be like, oh, I just went because she promised to take me to Wolfie's after. And in my mind, I would say Rose would be so happy and she'd be like, well, what's the big deal? I love him on that show 24 because she thinks this is Donald Sutherland, not Donald Trump. Yeah. So, yeah.
That is good. That's gold. You can have that one. I can't copyright that because you just said it. I love it. There's one episode where they go through like a monkey chain, but actually, funnily enough, I think it's Rose who's correcting somebody else, maybe Sophia. I'll have to return to that thought. There's one where they keep saying the wrong name and they keep linking wrong names. Anyway.
Yes, when she asks who's the President married to.
Yeah, like Barbara Bush or something, or
it's Nancy Reagan. She's trying to say, but Rose gives her the first wife of Ronald Reagan, not the second one. Yeah,
right. And then it just monkey chains, doesn't it? It's quite fun. And because I'm not American, I probably wasn't picking up everything in that, but I still found it amusing. Teddy, this is your turn. You told me that you had some actresses lined up to play the roles.
For the one-off episode of Norman Lear presents
the series now that you're becoming interested in. What if I said you can have a 5% stake?
I really don't want this mucked about. One-off holiday special brought to you by Jimmy Kimmel. Great, that's it.
What do you think, listeners? Teddy's is he just stubborn for the sake of it? Because we can all hear he's into this now, but he's just sticking to his guns. Leave me a comment. Time to talk Australia at outlook.com. Go on, Teddy, hit us with it. Who are these actresses for the one-off, in inverted commas?
In the role of Sophia, we have American actress Marla Gibbs, who was, best known for her roles on The Jeffersons and 227. She's actually 90 years old, I believe. Yes,
So she wouldn't need the 2 hours in the makeup chair.
she would not. And as they say in America, good black don't crack. So she's great. She
Okay.
still looks great. Marla gives us Sophia. In the role of Blanche, we have American actress Jackie. She's known for her very sexy type roles in everything that she plays. So
So a bit of typecasting doesn't go astray.
yes. In the role of Dorothy, we have Jennifer Lewis, who is also on Blackish. She's actually dubbed the mother of Black Hollywood because she's been in so many films and she always plays someone's mother. So,
Not the lady from Dirty Dancing.
no, that's Jennifer Grey.
I thought that was Jennifer Garner.
No, that's the one from Flashdance.
I see, you and I got to write together. This is too good.
See, now you and I are monkey swinging. Now we're doing the bit from Sophia and Rose now.
That's it. We're inspired. There's one more to go. Who else have you got?
American actress named Loretta Devine. She's another famous film star. She would play Rose because, she's just sweet as pie. Any time you see her in an interview, she's always bubbly and sweet, and the world just loves her. So that would be
Dorothy would hate her.
Yeah.
And rightly so.
And all of these women have acted with each other in other things, so the chemistry, would be there.
Gee, you've done your homework, because these guys had all acted with each other beforehand too, besides, of course, Sophia.
Well, when you gave me my homework yesterday, I said, no, who could you live with playing the Golden Girls just for one night? Because I really didn't want anyone. Listen, I'm a child of the 80s, if you couldn't tell. And what they've done to Dynasty, it literally, it's like herpes of the soul. Oh God, they've just ruined just one of the greatest, most campy shows ever.
I didn't even know they remade it, but I love the idea. I wish they had retitled it Herpes of the Soul. Sounds intriguing.
Oh my goodness, it's like sleeping with two women and your choices are herpes and chlamydia. It's like you just know it's going to end badly, but you're forced to watch this. That's what the new Dynasty is to me, as a person who absolutely loved the original. So,
well, tell me this: they didn't defrost Joan Collins for it, did they?
And that's the bad part. Like, they didn't even ask her to guest star. Like, what?
Terrible.
You could have legitimized it by just asking her to do a few episodes. No, she wants nothing to do with it. She's gone nowhere near it. And yeah, the part of Heather Locklear is now played by a gay man. It's completely it's rubbish. It's complete rubbish.
Oh, some of that's just sacrilege. But Teddy, I do have an offer for you. Can I make you an offer?
I'm listening.
How would you feel about playing a gay cook?
Yes, I could play Coco.
You only have to commit for one episode.
I could play Coco, but I would much rather play the wedding assistant because he has much sassier lines and yeah.
Well, and the other advantage is that in 20 years' time, you might not get pecked to death by vultures. So let's put you in the wedding planner role.
I would love it. And I love the fact that I'm so tall and that I would call someone else Stretch. Like, listen, Stretch. But yes,
I'm always surprised that they never brought him back, because that really was... Do you know how hard it would be to make an impact in a role like that, with a cast like that, on a beloved show like that? I know it was series 1, I think. But still, it was, these are remarkable actresses, yet he still stole the scene, didn't he?
Well, I know this is your program and I hate to disagree with you, but he has been in 2 episodes. They did bring him back.
What?
Yes, the first one was for Sophia's wedding, and the second one was when Dorothy was getting married. He played a wedding planner again when he says, "Take smaller steps. This is not Godzilla trashing Tokyo." Yeah,
that's him, was it? I love that line. I used that line once in a workplace, Teddy, and I got in trouble.
So he played the same role twice on 2 different episodes, yes. But I often say, "Quiet, you trash," and people don't get it.
Eat dirt and die, trash.
Eat dirt and
Isn't that what
trash.
she says? Something like that?
Oh my! Yeah, she says both of those. She says one to Dorothy and then one to a hooker in another episode. But yes.
Do you have any other favourite lines before we go?
Oh, my absolute favorite line of all time, which I put in the Golden Girls chat room all the time. It's the Libertine Bell episode. The murder mystery weekend.
Mm.
when the spinster daughter named Gloria looks at Dorothy and she simply says, "This woman's pathetic." Now, I say that to my boyfriend all the time because, he's my boyfriend and I can call him a woman. So whenever he does something that I find just a tad bit annoying, I will just turn to no one in the room and say, "This woman's pathetic." And he totally gets it. It takes the piss out of the entire situation. We both laugh at it. And we have
It's a good diffuser by the sound of it. I haven't used that one. I haven't. And I don't know if I've used many of them, but one of my favorites is the one that goes on all the mugs and the t-shirts. No, I won't have a nice day. Because Dorothy is usually so composed, but I love it when she loses it. And also in my family, my kids don't watch the screen. They only watch me. Anytime Dorothy becomes physical. So when she does that little boxing thing at the end of one of the scenes with the box.
Move, get the music. Come on, let's do,
But especially when she dances in that black dress, I don't think I've ever seen anything so funny. And then I watched the thing that wasn't on the Golden Girls where she danced, and I found it years later, so I was very delighted when she danced with Steve Urkel. That will just put me in a puddle on the floor because it's
the American Comedy Awards. Yes.
Hey, Teddy, have you enjoyed being in the Fortress of Pop Culture?
This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. This has been a treat. I appreciate this.
I know you won't publicly acknowledge it, but I'm waiting for that private email from you in the next 48 hours that say, okay, you were right, Tim. There should be a series. It should be reimagined. And I've now written down a whole chapter of ideas because that's what you're about to go away and do.
I like things the way they are. There's no need to muck about with something that's just absolutely perfect. And personally, I don't even think we needed the Golden Palace because the Golden Girls was just sort of, it's like I Love Lucy, just perfect, just the way it is.
Teddy, you're a very negative person.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew.
About the Sinatra concert? It's what? What, you've kept me on hold all this time to tell me that it is sold out? No, I will not have a nice day.
Welcome to the Fortress, where Lee, Paul, and I, we're a little bit worried our baby dragon, Igor, has swallowed a Monopoly piece. And things have become rather urgent. Because it's my favourite, it's the battleship. So, my friends, I'm afraid I might be in a very bad mood this morning. Is that okay with you, Lee and Paul?
Yep.
Go with it. Go with the
live your life. It's good.
You know, Paul and Lee, I used to play Monopoly with my dad, and he always beat me, probably because I'd always win.
I did play it quite a lot as a kid, but it was a bit of a trigger point, I think. It always made me a bit angry. Mostly because I always got ganged up on and bullied. So, and yeah, I did, flip a few tables.
But everyone has, though, Paul.
On a couple of times.
Everyone has. This game is infuriating because it's the only game in the world where they've created a game and then there are like 50 sets of rules. So whoever's losing adapts themselves to the set of rules that align with what their objective is. And that ends up with flipped boards. We never agreed on that at the beginning. I can't believe it. It's just terrible. I used to spend half an hour setting up the parameters of the game before I'd play with anyone as a youngster.
It was the game that was like the one that you went to the last if everything else failed, and it would go on for hours and hours and hours.
And we all know you don't have an attention span.
No, I used to always say I'll be the banker, just so that I could steal money when nobody was looking, because it got me so bored. Yeah.
See, I was never clever enough to be the banker. I wasn't a very clever child, and I'm not a very clever adult. So, and this is not me putting me down. I know where my strengths lie, and intelligence isn't really one of them. But they always knew. So it was always my family who I played with, like my sister and my cousins and stuff. And they always knew how to, no matter what, drag the game out to torture me. So I was never allowed to be the banker. There was always different rules thrown out there, and they knew I would never remember the rule from the last time. So I just absolutely hated playing the game because it always led to me ended up in jail, having to sell things just to get out of jail, just to go back into jail again. And I was just like, no, I'm staying away from jail. So I just went on to Kaplunk. I like games where you just, you just press something or you pull something and something happens. I'm all right with that.
Yeah. Instant gratification, hungry hippos, that kind of stuff. Yeah, forget your Monopoly with all the complicated rules and tiny houses and little things. Yeah,
I do have a question though. So, did you always pick a specific piece? So, like mine was, I always liked being, strangely enough, the dog.
I would never have wanted to be anyone's bitch, so I never. It was always the battleship for me.
I always went for the tiny top hat because I used to do a little dance with the like. That was the only reason that I chose it, or the iron, because then when I was bored, I could iron the money when I wasn't listening.
I didn't get the iron being something because I didn't really think many people enjoyed ironing.
I can tell you, I didn't just get into trouble as a child with this game. As an adult, my then wife caught me cheating while we were playing Monopoly. And you guys, you don't even want to know. She chucked the dice across the room as soon as she noticed me fingering her sister.
Oh. Scandalous.
And I recently bought the Sharia law version of Monopoly. I mean, it's pretty much the same as the standard version, except if you're a woman, you're not allowed to own property.
Ooh.
Really? Is that genuinely true?
Well, it is, Lee. You don't get sent to jail. You get sentenced to a stoning.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
I didn't realize this was going to go all controversial.
Paul's out of here. He's going, no, I don't want any part of this. Get me out of the room.
I'm not intelligent enough to say anything that would actually convict me. So at the end of the day.
Well, look, I tell the listeners are probably wondering what the hell we're all rabbiting on about. We're here to talk about the proposed changes to Monopoly. Toy company Hasbro has announced that it is updating its popular board game for the first time in 85 years. All 16 of the famous community chest cards are being changed to appeal to a more modern audience. And actually, let's just call them what they are, the woke brigade. So the prompts on these yellow cards, they include things currently about having to pay $50 for a doctor fee or winning $10 for coming second in a beauty contest. Those are the types of cards that they're replacing. They're talking about the new cards that will require players to pay for donating to an animal shelter, for God's sake, failing to recycle the trash, or not choosing to shop locally. You will be fined. How bad is this?
Don't get me wrong, I'm all about the planet. Love the planet, don't want people to litter and things like that, but please, come on. Like, who even thought to themselves, right, okay, what we need to do is we need to update our game so that it is so politically correct, so that it is so humanitarian. It's a game, and then no one likes playing the game, and you've even got like a billion different versions of this game, Star Wars, Lego. You've had to change this game up to try and appeal to so many people. Your game is rubbish.
They've got Pokemon, Lord of the Rings, City Edition, the World Edition, my favourite, the Electronic Banking Edition. I want to know, though, tell me this, Paul and Lee, where's the Jeffrey Epstein Edition? I mean, you managed to evade the bankruptcy square by sitting on a little private island in the middle of the board, but then you ultimately end up in jail unless you pick up the Prince Andrew immunity card.
Oh. That's so controversial.
But you know what?
It's only a matter of time.
This is what Hasbro said in a statement. They said, covering topics like beauty contests, holiday funds, and life insurance, there's no denying that the Monopoly game's community chest cards are long overdue for a refresh. So we thought that we would help because they actually are having a competition, Hasbro, or a questionnaire or whatever. They're reaching out to the community for ideas for their community chess cards. Give us some of the ideas that you've got, Lee, for your community chess cards. Just give us one. We'll pepper them through this conversation, I think.
Oh, I'm going to go with go back so many spaces or give so much money to the bank because you've had botched Botox. I think
your face is sagging to the left.
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah. You've had an adverse reaction to chemical fillers and it's not good.
It is not good.
No.
Your blood facial went wrong. I love it. Awesome. Go on, Paul.
Oh, well, see, I've just completely restructured the whole game, if I'm perfectly honest. So,
good on you. It was well beyond the scope.
Yeah, I know.
Well beyond the scope of what you were asked to do, but I know. You.
But I get an idea in my head, and I just have to go with it. So basically, I don't know I know Lee watches it, but like Drag Race is quite a big thing for us UKs, and ours has just finished, like our series, and I think Australia's getting the first season coming up soon. So I'm giving a big old shout out to RuPaul and all of his producers and whatever. You can thank me for this, and you can give me some money. But if there isn't already, RuPaul's Drag Race Monopoly board. And here's where we start. So you have your 4 main corner posts, and you start with go, so that's where everyone starts. We're going to change that to start your engines and receive a tip of $200, because that is just, where everybody starts. Where the jail is, it is now going to be classed as the bin, because nobody wants to get in the bin. But also, once you get out of the bin, because sometimes you get like a get out of jail free card, you're going to get a get out of the bin free card. It's just going to be classed as the workroom. Then in the next corner, where it was free parking, it's going to be the main stage, because, you don't have to pay anything for that. And then the go to jail square will be get in the bin. So them are your 4 main squares. I'm just going to let you digest that for a little second. And
Thank you.
I have a feeling you've been thinking way too much about this.
And he's a very big fan of Drag Race, and if you're not a fan of Drag Race, you won't be following this at all.
No,
I'm trying.
No. You
and in the UK, get in the bin is a very relatively new way of kind of dissing somebody. It's like you need to get in the bin.
Yeah.
Kind of, get in the trash.
Like instead of get
in the trash. Yeah, or get in the gutter. So whatever your term is for just basically you are bashing someone, you're like, right, I don't like you, get in the bin. You would use that.
Is it used in a fun way or a highly offensive way?
Well,
should I say it to my grandmother?
No.
Do you like her?
Not really.
No, she can get in the bin.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try it out and see what happens. Anna, you meant to say, what sort of tone do you adopt? Like, tell me. I'll give it a go. Tell me if I'm wrong. Get in the bin.
Right. So my recent get in the bin for someone, it usually is like social media, because everything happens on there. And I will happily say it to people's faces. That's not a problem. But for the likes of things like Piers Morgan, massive controversial. But I just don't like him anyway, and he can always, no matter what, get in the bin. And if I ever see him, I'll just be like, "Oi, Morgan, get in the bin."
One of my favourite GIFs is there's an actual GIF with it where there's a trash, like a huge big trash can with somebody being thrown into it. And it just says "get in the bin."
Yeah.
It reminds me of Mr. Bean, where he runs through the park with the bin on top of his head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except, we choose to put people in the bin.
Right.
Just get in the bin.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to try and use it at work tomorrow. I'll tell you if I've still got a job.
Just be careful who you use it on.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and a lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners.
This is really interesting to me. I, honest to God, didn't know this. The game's little-known inventor, Elizabeth Maggie, would no doubt have made herself go directly to jail if she'd lived to know just how influential today's twisted version of her game had turned out to be. Because the version she made in 1866 was railing against the norms of the time, essentially. And she was trying to make a statement. She was unmarried, into her 40s. She was independent, very proud of it. And she made her point with a publicity stunt. Taking out a newspaper advertisement, she offered herself as a young woman American slave for sale to the highest bidder.
Oh my
Her
God.
aim, she told the shocked readers, was to highlight the subordinate position of women in society. And this is a quote from her: "We are not machines. Girls have minds, desires, hopes, and ambition." So it gives you a flavour of the woman, but she's an activist, and she's someone that we should all be proud of, way ahead of her time. She invented a game to make her social point, and in 1904 she patented the game, and she called it the Landlord's Game. Now, laid out on that board as a circuit, which was very novel at the time, it was populated with streets and landmarks for sale, but the key innovation of her game lay in there were two sets of rules. Okay? So you could play it under the prosperity set of rules or the monopolist set of rules. This is where she's trying to make her point. Do you want to be in a society where we live by prosperity rules or monopolist rules? So under the prosperity rules, which of course she favoured, every player gained each time someone acquired a new property. Every player gained. The game was ultimately won by everyone when the player who had started out with the least amount of money had doubled it. Sounds a bit boring, but I mean...
Yeah.
It's very worthy and very
worthy.
well done her. But where are the hippos that are eating things? Where is the thing that explodes? That's what we want from a game.
I mean, I am quite taken back with how old this game is. There's me just thinking it was made in the 60s or something. It's actually been going for such a long time.
Let me tell you one of my community chest cards that I came up with.
Ooh.
From sale of stock, you receive $45. But if you're Danny Minogue, receive nothing. No stock did you move.
Do you know, there is a long-running harshness with Tim and Danny Minogue. And,
I love Danny Minogue.
I do as well. We're not happy with that. Perhaps it could be you win a full range of her Walmart clothing.
Oh, it's QVC,
range.
Isn't it? She's just done something for QVC over here. Oh my God, skipping back to Wigan. So she had a baby with a guy that was a rugby player from Wigan. And she actually met, I think his mum worked on the indoor market, which I ain't slating no one's indoor market, but he's come from a very working class background. And I just love the fact that she picked up with someone from Wigan, and she could have, got any kind of celeb she wanted to, but she chose someone down to earth. And I like that.
Well, Paul, there's another link between Danny Minogue and Monopoly. When they were kids, Kylie used to, deliberately shuffle the cards so that second prize in the beauty contest was always picked up by Danny.
Oh, the shade of it all.
I think that's terrible.
So initially, when I heard this, I was like, oh, yeah, here we go again. It's woke. We just had the news, haven't we, that Mr. Potato Head is no longer going to be called Mr. Potato Head. It's just going to be called Potato Head.
You're joking?
Yeah, you can still get Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, but Potato Head will be will just be the name that it goes under. So I was thinking, ridiculous. But then reading it, I'm kind of on board with it. It does need updating to reflect modern times. If you're somebody who likes Monopoly, that's great. I would rather chew my own nails off my feet than play Monopoly. Because
there was a photograph of you doing that on page 3 of The Sun, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. It's haunted me for all of my life.
Why your career never got off the ground.
Yeah, never. Yeah, I have friends who absolutely love it. I've been to adult games nights where when I say adult games night, there was no kind of sexual stuff going on. I have to, it's just adults playing games, board games, and there was an infamous Monopoly game that went on for 6 hours until 5 a.m. in the morning, where finally the two players that were left had different views of the rules and would not budge on them. So they were just sat there for hours going, well, you can't do that because that's not in the rules. And the other person was going, well, no, you can't do it because it's not in the rules. And in the end, I think I flipped the table over. I was sleep deprived and I wanted to go home.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
The unexpected twist at the end of that story.
If anyone is ever going to make me play this game ever again, booze will play a heavy feature into it. I'm not playing it for 6 or 7 hours unless I'm getting drunk. So, no.
However, you did spend 6 or 7 hours preparing new chance and community cards, which is awesome. Have you got some more to share with us?
Actually, it only took me about 25 minutes because once I got started, I got a bit excited. So I got more with the chance card. So like with your chance card, it was always at risk, wasn't it? Like whether you got like a good one or a bad one. So I have a couple of good ones. So again, RuPaul's Drag Race related. You win the mini challenge. Here is a voucher for wigs. Drag queens love wigs. They need wigs. They survive off wigs. So that's a good prize, I think. And then you slayed the reading challenge. So for anyone who hasn't watched the RuPaul's Drag Race, just go on YouTube or whatever and just type in reading challenges, blah, blah, blah. You will get the gist. It is hilarious. Well, some of them are boring, but a lot of them are really, really good. And then my third one would be your runway was an extravaganza. Here is $7,000. And then you get to get, obviously fake money, but you get the money that way. You don't have to do things that make you think about stuff. You just win it because you got that card. That's the chance in life that you need. And they also, I do have some that are where you lose money, but I will save those. But we'll get back to those.
Lee, I'm loving Paul. How good is he? He has really put thought into this.
Just like to point out, as if you haven't already guessed, Paul is homosexual.
What? Excuse me?
In case you were wondering with the whole RuPaul thing.
Well, because Paul clearly hasn't listened to the show. Usually we just flop in and we don't know what we're talking about. No one's done any research. He's really put thought into this. It's the first time I've heard someone who's put thought into this podcast in months.
I've actually dodged doing work because I should have been focusing on stuff that I need to do for tomorrow. And I was like, no, actually, my focus now is going to be on changing the rules to Monopoly.
But I don't know if they still do that.
Well, it's not a game for kids, is it? Let's really, really be honest. It isn't a game for kids, but they aimed it towards it being a family thing, and it just wasn't. It just wasn't. Unless you were a clever child, then no, it weren't going to work.
Well, here's the test, Paul. So it's designed for adults to teach kids about some of the principles of life, I suppose. What principles did you take away from this game? What did you learn?
I learned very quickly that people are awful, no matter how close you think you are to them. And you know what? Sleep with one eye open, because you might think you are screwing me over by taking all of my money, but guess what? Your dolls and your Barbies are going to get shaved heads. Maybe melted in the fire. See who's laughing then?
I learned that extortion is fun.
And cheating's fun by the sound of it.
And cheating
You
pays
and your
dividends.
banking hand.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to give you a couple more of mine. You can pick up a community chess card. You have been made the manager of a call center. Proceed to India. And there's another one. You have won a dinner with Jerry Halliwell. Visit her on Old Kent Road.
Wow. I think she lives in the country. I think she lives in the country now. So
Old Kent Manor then.
yeah.
Here's another one. If you were born after 2002, cancel everything and end the game.
Just stop. Stop it now.
Stop. End it.
Yeah.
Everything's too offensive, too rude.
Yep.
Can't say anything. pack it up, and recycle it.
Yeah. Miss a turn after you get food poisoning from a delicious tofu vegan treat.
Oh no.
This is the woke version, right, Lee?
Yeah, definitely.
Another one of the cards. You discover you're actually Bill Gates. Pay no tax for the remainder of the game, but pretend to donate to free parking. There's so many ideas. They just go on and on and on.
They do. And some of them perhaps not as politically correct as we thought they could be. I came up with, you are a member of the royal family who has invented a specific treatment for non-sweating. Please, you've changed the course of history. I don't think that, is necessarily... It's current, but it's not necessarily woke.
No.
Don't go to jail. Exonerate yourself. I love it.
Don't go to jail. Go to Pizza Express.
In Woking or something. Oh, man. Yeah, they're going to be wondering, everyone's going to be asking, where's Paul? Where's Paul? And months later, he'll reemerge with his version of Drag Race Monopoly. And he'll trump us all. He'll be the richest man in, where are you from again? Woggling.
I'm from Wigan.
Wigan.
Yep.
I like Woggling better. That sounds more exciting.
It does sound a bit more exciting.
Hey, Lee and Paul, you have been awesome. But I hope that you're going to come and join me for next week's episode where we'll be talking about the Michael Jackson version of Operation.
I didn't see that one coming.
I really didn't know what was going to happen right there.
You're listening to Time to Talk.